Describe in single words only the good things that come into your mind about your mother.
My mother?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about my mother.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Cyberpunkins, mount up. It's the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric.
And I'm Josh.
We're back again.
Baby.
I was going to do that last week, but we had a guest, and I was too embarrassed to do it.
That's understandable.
So I saved it.
Yeah, fair. But, I think he would have gone with it, but yeah.
I'm sure he would have, but still. Yeah. I feel like we had to be on our best behavior when there was someone staying over at the house.
Yeah.
That metaphorical house of the High Tech Low Life podcast.
Yeah. I believe more metaphorically, we would be at a squat of some sort.
Probably. That
or possibly a coffin motel. I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah. I feel like this podcast only forks up for the squatter lifestyle. We won't go any higher than that.
Yeah.
That's a Shadowrun reference for you nerds out there.
Get ready for more of those.
Well, I mean, probably should be used to it at this point.
Good point.
What are we covering this week, Josh?
This week, we are going to cover the 2013 Spike Jonze film, Her.
Super cyberpunk thing that fits in this podcast perfectly.
Very, very, very cyberpunk. If your only requirement for cyberpunk is the concept of an artificial intelligence.
Exactly. I don't know. I was kind of like halfway through it. I'm like, this probably doesn't belong on our show, but we're in a unique situation this week where we don't have time to do anything else. And I was already halfway through the movie. So I figured, let's roll with it.
I was in basically the same situation. I think the night before you watched it, I was like, this isn't very cyberpunk. But at the same time, we kind of already announced it. And
there are interesting conversations about AI, especially AI as perceived in 2014 compared to the real world of AI now. So we can get into that here in a bit.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a complete waste of time.
No.
And the movie's it's fine. So, yeah. Before we do that, let's talk about life. I got some recommendos.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if I have any dystopia talk, though. I'm trying to think of something.
Let's see. Our president is being kept off the ballot in Colorado.
Our president?
Yeah. Right?
Sure.
Uh-huh. I mean, which isn't to say that if he is in fact our president, he shouldn't be on the ballot in Colorado because it would be his third term anyway, but whatever.
I was trying to, I don't think there's any president that I would claim as my president.
No.
In a very long time. Ever?
I would go with ever, personally, but that's just me. Your mileage may vary.
I don't know. I've heard good things about Ulysses S. Grant. He ended the KKK for a while.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, decent amount of corruption, but. Yeah,
comes with the job.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, not a big fan of presidents as a concept in general.
Yeah.
That's saying I'd make a great one. If you want to write me in, I'd be happy to give it a go.
I mean, yeah, that is a club. That is one of the very rare clubs that I would join if they would have me as a member.
Yeah, POTUS Club. We'd have to learn how to play golf.
Yeah, I can do that. I know
We'll make
how.
a pact. If you get written in, you'll make me your VP, and if I get written in, I'll make you my VP.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. It's kind of like one of those pacts where like people make when they're young. Like if you aren't married by 30, we'll marry each other, except it's for leading the free world.
Yeah, free world.
Yeah, it's fun.
Believe me,
It's
after
so fun.
after one or the other of us gets married or gets elected,
Married to the United States.
yes, it's being president is kind of like being a nun. You're a bride of Christ, except in this case, you're a bride of the eagle.
Yes.
After one of us gets elected, it will be the free world.
All right, we'll make it free. Whether
Free
it likes it or not.
world.
Sounds
Right?
like the new Star Spangled Banner to me.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, dystopia's happening, free Palestine, all the usual stuff.
Yeah.
We are also a week behind a rare early recording, so if something terrible happens the next week, we're not shouting it out because,
It hasn't happened yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
not because we are callous bastards who don't care about whatever awful thing happened.
How about with the winter storms rolling in today over a good portion of the nation, remember our unhoused populations and do what you can for them.
Definitely. All right, let's recommend those.
Yes.
Do you have any?
I have one that I definitely, yes. Number one, did I, a couple of weeks ago, because my brain worms are bad, did I
Brain
recommend,
Shihulud.
yes, did I recommend Culprits?
That's not ringing a bell.
Okay. It's a Hulu show about a group of people who do an armed robbery 5 years ago. Big robbery. And then, like, in present day, they all got away with it. They are suddenly being hunted down. And
That sounds interesting.
it's a pretty good show. It stars, what is his name? Nathan...
For you.
Nope, not Nathan Fielder. Nope. Gemma Arterton. She's a British lady. Eddie Izzard.
Okay.
God, what is the main character's name?
Another British lady.
Yes, also true. But yeah, it's a really cool show, and not. I think it was 8 episodes, so it's not as dragged out as a lot of those things are.
Culprits on Hulu.
Yes, Culprits. And based on what I see on the Cyberpunk subreddit, shout out to r/Cyberpunk,
We love it.
during the robbery, people wear some masks. And apparently masks are like an inherent part of Cyberpunk somehow. I don't know
see
where
a
that
lot
came
of-
from.
Yeah,
but
a lot of
apparently
people
it's a
think-
thing.
Gas masks in particular
Yeah.
are, and I agree that it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of become part of the aesthetic. I've never connected the two.
Yeah, it's really weird. You see a lot of posts about check out this cyberpunk mask, and it's like, I don't know, fucking Daft Punk.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that. Okay, Culprits. That sounds something I would be interested in.
yes, it is definitely worth a shot.
What year is it? A new thing?
It's new. I think it came out like a couple of weeks before Christmas, I want to say. So
BC. All right.
yeah,
I've got 2 recommendos. Well, I've got something old and something new. I don't know if I
ooh, something borrowed.
no and blue. Not really blue either.
Oh, okay.
First of all, not intentionally, we started watching the show You on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Have you watched that?
We watched the first season and a half, I want to say. Maybe full 2 seasons. I don't remember.
We're about to the end of season 1, and I am liking it. I wasn't expecting it to. I thought like my wife put it on, and I was gonna watch a little bit with her, and then go do something else, and ended up getting kind of sucked in. So I don't know. It's weird
Yeah.
and kind of messed up, and so far, if you dipped, maybe it's not that great, but we'll see
Well,
how season 2 goes.
it very possibly, knowing how my life generally is, it's very possible that we dipped because I went to Texas for 3 months.
True. Yeah.
And never picked it back up again, as opposed to, oh, this got boring or something.
Yeah, that's true. But so far, I had passed it a million times on Netflix, and I don't know, something about Penn Badgley never moved the needle for me and inspired me to click. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
And the something new I watched, which only one episode, so it's kind of a tepid recommendo. But it's on Netflix as well. Big Netflix day for me. It's called Delicious in Dungeon.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I'll tell you that.
You might like it. So you remember Record of the Lodoss War, classic anime styled after Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
This, from what I can tell from the 130-minute episode, is styled after Record of the Lodoss War.
Okay.
But it's this adventuring party who, I won't give away the plot, but basically they go down into a dungeon and they're too poor to like buy rations. So they kill monsters and they eat them and they cook them and prepare them and talk about their recipes.
Okay.
And like the monster anatomy. And then they get better at fighting and killing monsters.
Sure.
Because they're learning monster anatomy.
Sure. That all makes sense.
It's goofy, but it combines my two favorite things, high fantasy and cooking shows.
Okay. Yeah. I will give that a shot.
Yeah. Might wait till there's a couple more episodes. I don't know why they're releasing it weekly, because that seems
weird.
It's
like,
not
I
can't
am
be that popular.
So not used to Netflix doing that of all of the services.
I know they do it on, like the British Bake Off does it. A couple of like, especially reality style shows do it, but an anime, that surprises me.
Yeah, that's odd.
But the first episode was a lot of fun, so I figured I'd mention it. I can follow up on later podcasts to see if the rest of it's good.
Please do. I have another recommendo. This
right.
one is on Paramount Plus and also BBC. If you're one of our foreign listeners,
We have them. We got a shout out from Leningrad last week.
Oh, did we? Shit.
On YouTube, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool. I thought I sent you the screenshot.
Maybe it didn't go through.
I'm the one that sees all that stuff. I try to send it to Josh so that he knows that we have people that listen to us.
I'm fine with shouting into the void, but
I like to know that someone's listening, but yeah, Josh is cool. Just whatever.
Yeah. It is called The Gold.
The Gold. Not heard of that either.
Yeah, it just came out like, I don't know, maybe like last week or something like that. Another miniseries, more British, starring fucking the Lord from Downton Abbey, Hugh Bonneville.
I did watch the. Oh, yeah, okay.
And Jack Lowden, who is the lead of Slow Horses. It is about, based on a true story, about a robbery of 3 tons of gold bullion from a Brinks warehouse in London in 1983. And
interesting.
Yeah.
Is it a reenactment or like a documentary?
Dramatization.
Okay. Like a America's Most Wanted style dramatization with really bad actors.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
Okay. My favorite kind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good show. Like I just kind of, turned it on because somebody I know of said it was good. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Did not expect it to get... Dominic Cooper is in it as well.
Oh, really?
He was the preacher on Preacher. And it gets way into the, like, British class system and people trying to get ahead. And
that's fascinating, actually.
It's a really, really neat show. Like, way more than I expected it to be.
It's called Gold?
The Gold.
The Gold.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one earns a very high recommendo from me. It is one of the, I'd probably say that was one of the best shows that I did not know existed, sort of one of those big surprise shows of the
Yeah.
past, year or two that I can recall.
BBC will sneak those in on you.
Yeah, they'll do that.
That sounds, both of those recommendos actually sound like something I'd be quite interested in watching.
Yeah, Culprits is a lot more fun. I mean, not that The Gold isn't fun. There's a bunch of really fun shit because it's all set in the mid 80s and people are, have horrible haircuts. Horrible haircuts and bad clothes.
Yeah, British.
Yeah. Culprits is much more fun, popcorny stuff. But The Gold is really, really fucking good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one more unconventional, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I just remembered this.
Sure.
I've not actually watched the whole thing, but I've seen clips of it over social media all week. But I've been kind of obsessed with Cat Williams' appearance on Club Shay Shay.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to mention it because
I also have not seen the whole thing, but I've seen many clips, and he is on fire.
I fucking love it. I don't know how much of it's true. I mean, I kind of believe him.
I don't know or give a shit how much is true.
Like, I'm a Cat Williams fan now, and I kind of have been like offhand. His comedy is not made for me, but
But he's very good at it.
Yeah, he makes me laugh even if I don't get all the jokes.
Yeah.
But man, this recent just spilling tea all over Hollywood has been fucking fascinating to watch.
Clearly does not give a shit.
And like the instant responses from these famous people who, I mean, Cat Williams is great, but these guys are levels above him and like instantly started jumping to their own defense. It was fascinating. And his talk about black men in Hollywood being put in a dress, like, man, start thinking back, it's true. It's almost like it's a pact they have to make.
Yep.
Like a humiliation pact.
It's very good. I highly recommend everybody seek out, at the very least, clips. I should probably just watch the whole thing at some point.
I've been meaning to, but it is 3 hours. Like or at least like 2.5. It's a long. Yeah. It's like a high-tech, low-life length podcast. But man, Cat Williams, how fucking great. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for recommendos.
Okay, I just want to, right before we get into our very, very, very fun movie, bring it down for a second.
Okay.
R.I.P. to Cindy Morgan, who played Yori in Tron.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, she died Friday, I want to say, or at least her death was announced Friday.
Oh, Friday being the 5th?
Sure, that sounds possible.
Yeah, I'm just good. I remember her. I remember we talked a lot about her on the Tron episode.
And I kept fucking it up and saying it was Cindy Williams, which is a different early 80s beautiful actress.
Yeah. Did they say what happened?
A thing I saw
or something.
A thing I saw said, quote, natural causes, but it was on a like fairly sketchy, Screen News type website. So I don't know, but
it's always sad when you Google somebody and like the people on Wikipedia, they're on the ball. They're instantly like Cindy Morgan was instead of is. It's sad, but R.I.P. Too bad. Friend of the show.
Yes,
sort of.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's lift our spirits with some talk about loneliness in the late 21st century, I'm guessing.
Sure. I don't know. If it's late, it's pretty boring. I'd say mid.
Mid? It is mid.
It is pretty mid.
All right. We are talking about Her, Spike Jonze, Joaquin Phoenix, ScarJo, Amy Adams. What more could you ask for?
Rooney Mara?
Rooney Mara. How could I have forgotten?
Yeah. Olivia Wilde?
Olivia Wilde. Shit, this is kind of a star-studded cast for what feels like a...
Chris Pratt?
Shit, Chris Pratt's in it too. Fuck. You keep naming people.
The girl who played Chris Pratt's character's girlfriend, who is not credited on IMDb.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She got robbed. She had like some good lines.
Yeah, she had like way more lines than a number of other people who were in the credit section. Oh, Brian Cox?
Brian Cox. Yeah, I called that one. I was excited when that one popped up.
Yeah.
I was explaining to my wife the range of Brian Cox, who can be on Emmy-winning Succession and Shakespearean stage plays, and he can also do McDonald's commercials better than anybody on the planet.
And of course, Super Troopers.
And of course, Super Troopers. But he can also play Alan Watts's Ghost in the Machine.
Yes. Whew. Okay, this is a movie. Number one, I liked this movie way more than I thought I would.
Okay.
By which I mean, I thought it was pretty okay. Because I was primed to really not like this fucking movie.
Yeah. I feel pretty okay is a good way to describe it.
I have never liked Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I don't know why not.
Yeah, I don't know. He's on a frequency that just doesn't fucking hit for me for some reason and never has. So the number of things that I have liked him in out of his, 61 actor credits.
Jesus.
I mean, I'm sure some of those are not much, but it is less than a handful of things I have enjoyed him in.
Gladiator?
He was fine in Gladiator. He was the most annoying part of Gladiator.
That's true.
I mean, it's one of those things he's just on the wrong.
What about Cash, the autobiography of Johnny Cash by Johnny Cash?
Oh, you mean the movie where he has to think about his whole life before he goes out on stage to play a song?
I've never actually seen it, so I don't know.
Walk the Line, that's what that was called.
Yeah.
He's got to think about his whole life before he goes out on that stage.
I've been looking forward to Napoleon. I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet.
I also have not seen it. I'm hopeful. I like Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like how he said, fuck you to history. I'll write what I want. I appreciate the boldness.
Yeah. Ridley Scott doesn't give a shit. Why would he?
He doesn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely watch it. I've seen, a number of Joaquin films and just have never clicked with him. I liked him in this way more than I think I've liked him in anything else.
Okay.
Also, I'm not exactly primed to love a Spike Jonze movie.
Right.
So, I found this movie surprisingly watchable.
Well, let's be honest. Chris Pratt and ScarJo have some marks in their history that make them not the most beloved.
Yeah, they have some baggage. Although, opposite of Joaquin Phoenix, I am inherently fond of Scarlett Johansson. I mean, just for, and have been for 25 fucking years now. World.
I am absolutely, what's the word? Neutral on Scarlett Johansson. I don't have any feelings on her one way or the other.
Yeah.
I am not a Chris Pratt hater. I will say that. A lot of people are. They have pretty valid reasons for it. He's just made me laugh too much in Parks and Rec. And
yeah, he was very funny on Parks and Recreation. I mean,
and the Marvel movie
Guardians of the Galaxy. Hey, did you see the third one, by the way?
No, I haven't. I'm wanting to. I just never did.
I would recommend to you and all of our audience, be prepared for a ton of simulated animal cruelty going into it. Yeah, it really, really took me by surprise. And
to the raccoon guy?
The raccoon guy and others like the raccoon guy.
Okay.
The whole movie is about basically Rocket Raccoon's history and animal experimentation, and I was unprepared and subsequently had not as good a time as I think was intended Like,
It's at this point I need to point out that Josh has been sick, so when his voice gets low and gravelly that, it sounds like he's about to go fucking kill Bradley Cooper.
Okay, yes, that's a good note. Thank you.
You're sounding really intimidating there for a second.
Yes, yeah, it's maybe in a, having now seen it, if I watch it again, it might not be so bad, but it just came out of fucking left field.
Yeah. Well,
and
I'm glad for the preparation.
Was rough.
Now, if I watch it, now it's a big if I watch it, not a win, and I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I had actually meant to mention that on the podcast, just after I saw it, because I know you have some issues with that, and I know Sean does as well. So,
not a fan.
Yeah.
But for me personally, if it's bipedal AI raccoons, it probably won't bother me. It might bother my wife though, so that's good to know, like, throw it on.
Yeah, there's more than it's there's some real roof stoof in that. So,
well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
But what were we talking
anyway, Star-Lord is fun. He's playing a Kurt Russell character.
Yeah. We like that. I don't know. Chris Pratt was an asshole to my girl, his ex-wife, and I hate that about him.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Anna, what's her name? Not Anna. Anna Faris.
Yeah,
love her, but still, I
look. He was fucking great on Parks and Rec, and you cannot deny the charm of his performance in the first Guardians movie. I mean,
and second one was amazing.
Second one was very good too, although I don't know. I didn't feel like that one quite popped as well, but fair.
He's barely in this fucking film though, so we can stop talking about it.
Good point. Good point.
I agree pretty much with you. Like I didn't really know what to expect going into it. It never interested me. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. It had never, until last week, it had never occurred to me to watch this fucking movie.
The only reason we did is because we had forgotten to pick something, and we wanted a movie that was going to be fairly easy. And so I threw up our cyberpunk movie database and picked it. Sometimes we pick stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we knew we had a short week to get this done.
Yeah. Sometimes things happen. Don't worry about it.
I would argue with the Cyberpunk movie database, why is this on your list?
I would as well.
When Babylon AD isn't, which bad movie definitely deserves to be on the list.
Bad movie, much more cyberpunk than this.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I kind of liked it. I mean, it was slow and a bummer at times, but I like movies like that.
I cannot imagine. Apparently, the original cut of this movie was another 40 minutes longer than this.
Wow, I would have appreciated it being about 20 minutes shorter.
Hey, you, me, and Steven Soderbergh agree.
Oh well,
apparently
of the smartest people in Hollywood.
Exactly. Yeah, apparently Spike Jonze couldn't figure out a way to get it cut down from 3 fucking hours.
Jeez.
And called Steven Soderbergh, and Steven Soderbergh basically took all the footage and then handed him a 90-minute cut.
Wow.
And that apparently, seeing that apparently helped him come up with, oh yeah, I guess I could cut some things.
That's interesting. A tight 90 would have been better. It was 2 hours and 6 minutes,
something like that. Yeah, right in the 2 hour-ish range.
And it seemed to drag. I mean, a lot of shots of Joaquin walking around talking to himself that probably didn't need to be in it.
Yeah. I could see seams where I could cut stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing that I am, the ending of the movie felt very apropos to the show and what we've talked about and previous works we've talked about. So let's save that till we get to it. But are we going to do a traditional recap?
Yeah, sure. I went through and watched it and took normal notes. So
right. Let's bust it out.
Let's not waste that energy. Okay, so Joaquin Phoenix is living in the future, a future without belts. Belts no longer exist. Too many people were hanging themselves. Also, a future without the color blue.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I noticed the belts, and I noticed the pants pulled up to the man tits.
That was all. That was another reason I was primed to hate this movie, because I remembered the trailer and going, "This is horrible. Fuck you."
It's going to affect its style rating. Let's be honest.
Yes. He is a lonely, sad guy with a mustache. Who
Divorcee.
Yes.
Well, I guess technically not at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, just separated.
Yeah.
And his job is writing letters for people who seem to be unable to express themselves, like love letters or letters to their parents or something like that. We see him at work. He just kind of dictates these letters to a computer.
I wanted to talk about his job because it was confusing. I get not really confusing. Like, I was wondering, and maybe the 3-hour cut would have explained this better, but I felt like they were painting a world where loneliness was very prevalent. Like the fact that people had to hire companies to write letters to their loved ones.
Okay.
And the fact that so many people were dating operating systems and whatnot. But I feel like that could have been a great vehicle for commentary on current society, but there was no connection to our society. There was no social media or mass media or anything in the movie that was causing people to be lonely. They just were.
Yeah, and also I don't know, like, if that was a message of the movie, or like, something it was trying to get at, that just like, this society is generally lonely. He is simply emblematic of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it did a good enough job of conveying that to really sell it as a concept, to
I don't
explore.
know. I felt, I only watched it once. I just feel like all the shots of the street, everybody was walking and talking to themselves in their earpieces. And there were very few scenes of like people together.
I guess that's true. I don't know. In my mind, I think maybe I'm just used to people talking in Bluetooth headsets to other people.
Oh, maybe that's the connection he was trying to make.
Yeah.
But
yeah, could be.
I don't know. I got the impression that everybody was like talking to their own personal AI friends in this world, and maybe that was wrong, but they never introduced Bluetooth as a concept, and they did introduce the concept of talking to AI through this earpiece, which, by the way, only one ear.
Yeah.
That bugged me all the time. Your lover is only in one ear. I need surround sound.
You need a stereo lover.
I need a stereo lover. Put that on the t-shirt.
Yes. Well, although the AI the whole AI/OS, which we're going to have to talk about that, the terminology they're using is weird. That doesn't get introduced. Like, he sees the commercial for it like 15 minutes into the movie, something like that. And it's introduced like it's an exciting brand new big thing.
Yeah, it is. And I believe it's supposed to be, but I don't know.
Okay. So anyway, he works. He's obviously lonely. He just looks like sad dude.
Yeah, he's got a mustache. That tells you. A 2014 mustache. Very cool in 2023. Not cool in 2014.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna grow one, and then we'll all know.
Yeah, sure. Then came my absolute favorite part of the movie. He says, "Play melancholy song" into his Bluetooths, and it plays a song, and then he's like, "No, I don't like this. Play a different melancholy song." And he plays "Off You" by the Breeders, which is one of my absolute favorite Breeders tracks, off the 2002 or 3-ish record titled TK. Great. Was really excited to hear that.
Also, relatable moment. Like, I've been like, I want to hear a sad song, and then something comes up like, not that sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not there yet. Playlist.
That's a peaking sad.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get home from work and be a little melancholy. Not. But no, I'm not a Breeders fan, but I liked that song. So
yeah, that one always.
I mean, I'm not a Breeders fan. What I'm saying is I wasn't familiar with their full discography.
Yeah. Yeah, and not a lot of people bought that record. So, but they do play it in concert pretty regularly anymore. So, anyway, yeah, go listen to that.
Spike Jones.
Off You. Yeah. He directed at least a Breeder's video or two, I think.
I would not be surprised. Didn't that
yeah.
where he got his start in 90s music videos?
Actually, he got his start in skate videos and then music videos.
Fucking rules.
And including Wonder Boy for Tenacious D. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see, what else?
Didn't he do some TV shows too?
Maybe.
Look him on the IMDb.
Oh, he did the Fatboy Slim Weapon of Choice video.
Great video.
Oh, and Sabotage by Beastie Boys.
Yeah, he's not. IMDb's not going to show his music videos.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah. Just go directly to director and then down into the 90s.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Probably don't have time to scroll through this.
Oh, no, I definitely think we definitely don't. And
Yeah, he
I'm
did
not doing
Cannonball
that
and
right
Divine
now.
Hammer, so
Yeah.
the big ones.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get off that and go back to my notes. Sorry. Oh, and the 100% video for Sonic Youth. It's a great video. Anywho, he, and this was a weird thing. He sees an ad about a sexy daytime star pregnant and nude. And
Right.
I'm not sure what the point of this is. It's unclear.
He's horny.
Yeah, I
By the way,
guess.
we forgot to mention this movie's pretty horny.
It is pretty horny. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Was it that the star reminded him of his ex?
I mean, I guess that could be. He then becomes lonely and sad and remembers his wife, played by Lisbeth Salander, and plays Wii.
His little
Yeah.
3D video game.
Yeah. Just the way he's moving his hands to make the little guy run.
Yeah, I kind of liked his little video game. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed fun. Just a little cursing, screaming child at you.
Yeah, yeah. The main character is fun.
Hey, fuck you. So then we're just getting a portrait of lonely guy life.
Yeah, aka my life, except for I'm married.
Yeah.
Lonely guys play video games and look at porn, I guess.
Yeah. And do Tinder, but just for phone sex.
Oh, man. Okay, we can't skip over
No.
the phone sex.
No. If you want to just insert some clips here or recite it, if you'd like, that'd be ideal.
I don't think we got an adult tag, but I don't know if I want to go that far.
Yeah, he has some very, very weird phone sex.
Talk about animal cruelty.
Yeah, choke me with that dead cat.
Yeah.
Huh. That's a move.
It's a move that I, while we were watching the film, I kept saying during later intimate scenes.
Yeah, and it got real sexy.
Yeah.
Your wife was way into it.
We were both like, why is he not into this? This is hot.
Yeah. Okay, so then he's going to work the next day, and it introduces the concept of the operating system, which is Siri.
Basically. Oh, shit, he directed Three Kings. Sorry, I'm still looking at Spike Jonze's.
No, he acted in Three Kings.
Okay, yeah.
That was directed by David O. Russell.
Yeah. He's known for Three Kings.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the third guy who isn't George Clooney. Who else
love
was
that
in
movie.
that movie? Mackie Mac? Was Mackie Mac in that?
Marky Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
What a great movie. And not the one we're covering today, but
No. Yeah, so, it's basically like Siri, except it's real AI and more real than the real AI that we have now, which isn't real.
yes. I mean, it kind of starts out like that.
Yeah.
But it actually learns. It doesn't just gather garbage from the internet and I don't know.
Yeah, and he's like, I guess the thought process is, hey, I'm lonely. Maybe I could use a robot friend. So installs this on his phone / his computer, and ends up making a couple of choices. And Scarlett Johansson is the voice of this AI.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives what I think is a really, really good voice performance.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't know. It's really
Not as good as Brian Cox, but it's up there.
well, yeah, it's tough. I mean, fuck off. I think Scarlett Johansson's performance in this is very fucking well modulated. Like she, like there are a lot of things she's getting across that would be easy to not have there if she wasn't giving as good a performance. I don't know. That probably didn't make sense.
Correct. It did not.
Okay, great. It was originally voiced by Samantha Morton.
Who's that?
She was Agatha in Minority Report. She's an English actress. Started as a model.
Well, I'm on IMDb. I might as well type her name in.
Yeah, apparently
Morton, Morty.
Yes. Yeah, apparently she was.
Don't know who the fuck that is.
You have definitely seen her in things, including Minority Report.
I saw that in the theater when it came out at a drive-in.
Really?
Yeah, it's never looked at it since.
Yeah.
But why'd they change?
Apparently they shot the entire movie with her talking into like off screen to Joaquin Phoenix. And then once they got into editing, it just wasn't working? ?
But she still got paid, right?
I assume so. I mean, she
Better
did the work.
Yeah.
She made her quote.
Interesting. So what's the name of the AI, the OS in this?
Samantha?
Samantha. Would have been British in that case.
Yes. I mean, I assume so.
We always set our GPS to British lady. I find it more pleasing.
Oh.
Directing me in traffic.
Yeah. So Samantha was originally played by Samantha. Amy is played by Amy. He's very creative with names.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. But wait, Joaquin's name is
Theodore.
Joaquin. Theodore, yeah, that's right.
That's because Joaquin is too ridiculous of a name for anybody to believe, even in the science fiction future.
Okay. Mexico might disagree.
Look at that guy. Is that guy Mexico to you?
No, but I have a friend who has a son named Joaquin. It is a name that exists.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so Samantha chooses her own name. She seems fun. She goes through all his emails, picks out of thousands, 86 that are kind of funny and worth keeping.
Man, there's a lot of problematic shit about having your AI lover complete access to all your computer stuff.
Little bit.
Would not feel comfortable.
So then it seems to be going well. We're introduced to Amy Adams playing Amy and her douchebag husband.
Played by, what's his name? Jaime. He plays Jaime on Narcos Mexico. He's like the DA boss.
Are you seriously? Oh, you're right.
I would love a Narcos actor.
You are absolutely right. I looked at him and didn't recognize him immediately and didn't look further. Matt Letcher.
Yeah, he's a great little side character on Narcos.
Yeah, he was fucking great in that. Huh.
He's been in a lot of other stuff too, but I like that guy when I see him usually. And he plays a good douchebag.
Yeah, he's just kind of
with his pants way up there.
Oh, he played Joe Kennedy on Boardwalk Empire. Huh.
I like that guy.
Yeah. And we're introduced to them. He and Amy Adams are just friends, and have been for years and years. We're all through this. We're getting he and Scarlett Johansson, or Samantha, are getting, closer. Like, she's anticipating what he wants or needs and stuff like that. And also admiring his writing and all this other stuff, and thinks he's great. Then we get to the weird Wii game that starts cursing at him and her. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, they're having a good time.
Yeah, just having a great time. He gets set up on a blind date by his brother, I think, with Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, it was the brother.
Yeah.
Although I think at the time I thought it was Amy Adams, but
I did too.
That doesn't make any sense looking back.
No, it really doesn't. So then a lot of this is just slice of life shit. Amy Adams shows him her footage of this documentary.
Should we talk about the blind date real quick?
We will. The blind date doesn't occur for another 4 scenes.
Right. Okay. So
it gets it gets set up and
Right.
then hangs out. So yeah, Amy Adams shows him some footage of a documentary. It's just more evidence that her husband fucking sooks.
Yeah, that really telegraphed where that's going from, like the first interaction when her husband like teases Theodore and she like really jumps to his defense. And
Yeah, it's not great. And so we see, oh no, some more relationships that aren't working. More, I don't know, loneliness? Question mark. And then we find out that while he and his wife are separated, they have not yet actually divorced. He just hasn't signed the papers yet.
right.
Because he, quote, liked being married.
Yeah.
And seems to, like, he does a lot of talking about how, like, he did things that he regrets, and why their marriage just didn't work.
Yeah.
Then we do a really fun date where he's just walking around a mall flirting with his earpiece. This is where, like, I don't know, she's directing him with his eyes closed around, and
that
then
was weird.
they look at a couple and like describe their lives, and it's very much a cute date, except one of them is a Bluetooth earpiece instead of a human female.
I don't know if I would trust Siri to direct me around. Like
Yeah.
that.
Then we get to the Olivia Wilde date, which is weird.
Right. She is so lonely and needy too.
This is where she is kind of a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, kind of very needy, but still is like enthusiastically encouraging him to tell her about the video game that he plays.
Right. Can you imagine? I mean, neither of us are women, but can you imagine being on a date with a guy talking about his favorite video game? Like,
Seems like
she's
yeah.
kind of perfect if she'll sit there and listen to you talk about your favorite video game.
Yes. So this is where I came to the realization that, and I wrote this in my notes, she's also kind of a super insecure guy's version of a, crazy chick. Like, she's not going to do what you expect. She turns on a dime and suddenly isn't into him for no reason. And I really feel like this movie is telling us a lot about fucking Spike Jonze.
That's what I got from her watching it, was that she was very lonely and very desperate to be with anybody, which is why she was putting up with his weirdness. And then when they start kissing at one point and he's doing it wrong and she's like teaching him how to kiss properly.
Yeah, good for her.
But she's laughing and like she's not making him feel bad about it.
Yeah.
She's just trying. I mean, it's kind of sweet in a awkward, embarrassing way. And she turns on a dime because he makes it clear that he's not looking for like a long-term thing. So I don't know. I felt really sad for her.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I feel like everybody in this movie is fucking lonely and grasping.
Yeah, that's a reasonable rating. But yeah, it goes. It doesn't end well. And then we get to the debrief of the date with Sam. She's really proud of herself for having had her own feelings.
Yeah.
Because she was like, and I realized I didn't like that. And I realized I had my own feelings. I wasn't just, making things up or something. Then we have a very horny robot phone sex scene.
Were you cranking it during this scene, Lake, or is that just me?
No, I definitely was. I assume your wife was as well.
Yes, it was. Just what's that fucking? I'm sorry, I'm gonna take you back here. It's that fucking movie where there's two guys watching something and one looks over at the other and says, "You mind?" And then
what was that? Oh God, what was that movie?
Willem Dafoe.
Yes, Autofocus.
Autofocus.
Greg Kinnear.
Greg Kinnear.
Yes. Uh,
I had forgotten about that until this moment in time.
Yeah,
But that's what the situation was.
Was that a Paul Schrader movie, I think?
I don't know. I got IMDb up. We can find out. It's definitely not cyberpunk, though.
No, it's not. It's definitely a movie. Um,
Is it a recommendo? 2002.
what was
Paul
that?
Schrader, yeah.
Yeah,
Director.
okay. He's a dude. I mean, he directed one of my favorite movies of the past couple of years. And he wrote Taxi Driver, and a bunch of other like really big classic movies like that. He directed First Reformed with Ethan Hawke. I don't know if you saw that. Probably didn't.
No.
Ethan Hawke is a priest at a Dutch First Reformed church in, I think it's somewhere in New York or New England, and it's like a 400-year-old church. And one of his flock members,
Yeah.
gets really far into despair over the environmental situation and ends up killing himself. And then Ethan Hawke has a crisis of faith about that, and it is a hell of a movie.
Sounds like a real lighthearted romp.
It's a very lighthearted romp. It's one of those where you just go, Jesus Christ. I mean, I feel like I'm glad I watched this movie. I don't know that I want to watch it ever again.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that's a Paul Schrader movie. He is not Spike Jonze.
And autofocus is also like that.
Yeah. He also did like 2 years ago The Card Counter with Oscar Isaacs.
Oh man, I've seen clips of that on YouTube only to demonstrate how bad it is as a movie about card counting.
Oh, I'm sure, and it's not actually about card counting at all.
Right, but the card counting scenes are bad, is what these card counters on YouTube were saying.
Yeah, I totally believe it. And then he also did one like just a couple of 6 months ago called The Master Gardener with Taron Egerton, I think.
All right.
Anyway, he is a guy who is on a very specific wavelength, who does a lot of movies about doing unforgivable things or considering unforgivable things and regret. And also Willem Dafoe and Greg Kinnear cranking it
together while watching a porno in the 70s. So it's hard to get pornos in the 70s. They didn't make them.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Watch it with your buddies like we did.
Yep.
All right. So ScarJo's voice and Joaquin Phoenix are having some cyber sex.
Mm-hmm. Which is maybe the most cyber thing in the movie.
Yeah, it's up there with shit. The movie we watched where the guy fucks a couch. I never remember the name. Cyber Vengeance.
Cyber Vengeance.
It's up there with Cyber Vengeance.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's she's like sexo. I am Brazil.
I mean, it's all.
He gives her his ASL.
Josh is right. It fades to black, but that's not when it stops. Like that's
when
it peaks.
It goes for a surprisingly long amount of time after it fades to black.
If you're into Scarlett Johansson talking about sexy stuff, this is your film.
Yeah, you are spared staring at Joaquin's face for it.
Thank Christ.
Yeah, because it would be so very uncomfortable and not
uncomfortable.
Not in a dramatic, good, uncomfortable way, but in a, I'm very sorry this exists.
I mean, you have to watch his face during the first phone sex scene with the dead cat.
Yeah.
Lady. And that's pretty uncomfortable, but at least at that point he gets freaked out midway and you don't have to watch his O face.
He just starts like, in that one it was very funny because the camera is like, I don't know, 4 feet above his face, which is just looking straight up at the camera like, what the fuck is happening?
This movie's weird.
It's a pretty
I
weird
kind of
one.
like it more the more we talk about it.
Yeah. So yeah, they have some very satisfying, it seems, phone sex.
Yeah, they're both loving it.
Yeah, and then it's the next morning, and they have a pretty awkward conversation, which is funny. Scarlett Johansson's like, "Hey, got 6 emails from your credit card company," and then he's like, "I just want you to know, like, I'm not trying to make this a thing. Like, I was just trying to have some fun."
Yeah,
And she's like, "What makes you think I was trying to have a commitment with you?"
right.
And it's really funny and weird. Um,
You know what's weird about this movie is I've seen so many movies, books, games, everything where the nice AI turns into an evil AI. So part of me was always waiting for her to turn evil
yeah,
and like do some evil AI shit, and she never really does.
no, really
Spoiler
doesn't.
alert.
Yeah. Then they go on a fun date to like the beach somewhere.
Oh yeah, like a long walk.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that in this movie. Just him walking around with her doing voiceover.
Well, yeah, because
And-
he's got a. Most of the movie is those two talking, and as it has to be. And he can't just be sitting in a chair in his living room. It's going to be the most boring movie of all time.
Oh yeah, I really think it would be interesting, like if we had any kind of useful functional AI, to do like have to have an AI insert Scarlett Johansson into the scenes where they're just walking around and talking, as though it were like she was a
She
physical
was there.
character in the movie,
Yeah.
because it's just kind of a romance movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bare bones romance at that point.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Bones?
our AI, there's this guy on TikTok I keep seeing. He's talking to, I think it's Open AI. It's one of the AI chatbots, and he always makes TikToks of himself talking to it. And he thinks that this chatbot sounds like Scarlett Johansson, so he's constantly asking it, were you voiced by Scarlett Johansson? And the AI's like, thank you for the compliment, but no, I am not voiced by Scarlett Johansson. And he's always like tricking her into saying
Scarlett Johansson
stuff
things.
Scarlett Johansson would say, particularly in this movie. Maybe that's why this
Sure.
movie was in my mind when we picked it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's very funny. I can't recommend it because I don't know the guy's name, but if you happen across it, think of me. Ding.
Okay. Ding. So over the course of this date, Samantha asks what I think is a really good question, probably the main philosophical question of this film. What if your butthole was in your armpit?
Some of the banter between them is a little cringe.
A little bit. But then she presents him with a quick sketch
The sketch
of
stole
two
it.
people having anal sex, except the butthole is in the armpit.
It was weird when the question came up, what if your butthole was in your armpit? And she immediately went to, what would anal sex be like?
Uh-huh.
And it's funny because you can actually see Theodore react.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird place to go for that question. I would think people ask, how are you shitting out of your armpit? That seems like a more...
Yeah.
She's horny.
Yeah, she is. I highly recommend that you get a picture of that sketch for the episode artwork, just FYI. And then after this fun conversation, she's writing music now.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, it's
She's
nice
better
little,
than any AI we got these days.
nice little piano piece.
I actually liked all of her music.
Yeah, it's not bad. In one of the one she writes later, it isn't, but the person who's singing the Scarlett Johansson part sounds like they're trying to do a Kim Deal impression, like
It's
the same
not Scarlett
kind of.
Johansson?
No,
Assume
I
it was
don't
her.
think so.
She put out an album, of Tom
She
Waits
did.
covers.
Yes, I have heard some of those.
I've just found something to tack on at the end of this episode.
Yes.
I'm Scarlett Johansson.
He did the same thing to me. Everybody knows Scarlett Johansson at the dump. Tom Waits is full of great stories. I highly recommend looking up the second disc of his Glitter and Doom album, which is just Tom Waits chattering from the stage at people.
Yeah. I recently, I think it was on YouTube, rewatched him and Coffee and Cigarettes, him and Iggy Pop.
Iggy? Yeah, that's a good bit.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
The suit really acted it. I really like that scene a lot, actually.
Yeah, I wish there was something in that movie that we could do for this show.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing cyberpunk about that movie.
I mean, other than the occurrence of the Wu-Tang Clan, and that's marginal at best.
Yeah. We always have a Patreon, though.
That's true. Okay, so then we get into kind of a conversation about Joaquin's marriage, and Scarlett's asking him like why he thought it didn't work, and what was it like, and stuff like that. And he apparently did a cool trick of growing up with Rooney Mara, who is, I think, 10 or 11 years his junior.
Yeah. Don't think about that.
Yeah, don't worry about that. By the way, they're actually married, or at least engaged in real life now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they have a kid. Yeah.
That's cool. They meet on this movie?
Yes? Question mark? Yeah.
Have that much scene time together, like
No.
one scene.
I think they did, and then they maybe worked on another movie. I'm vaguely remembering trivia I read earlier in the weekend. Runs into Amy Adams. She and her husband are splitting up.
They also pointed out that he and Amy Adams dated.
Yes, back in college.
I was guessing like he and Rooney Mara grew up together, but like didn't get married or start dating till after he and Amy Adams did. Maybe I don't know exactly.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Really.
Yeah. So yeah, Amy Adams and her husband are splitting up because he sucks, as telegraphed in the other scenes he's been in.
Also, he's no longer in the film.
Yes, he disappears. And then he checks out the video game that she's been working on, which is about being the best mom. It's also very current. Like, I could easily see this game.
Oh, absolutely be on Steam.
Yeah,
for like $8.
Doing a bunch of business.
Yeah,
like it very much looked like a game you could see on Steam this minute.
Yeah, well, and I'm 100%, but not one I would pick up.
No, probably not.
Although humping the refrigerator is pretty cool.
That was pretty funny. Turns out that Amy Adams is also having a relationship with an AI, but it's not a romantic one.
No. Although they flirt a little, sounds like.
Yeah, it's flirty. The AI is the one that makes her make the game character hump the fridge.
Yeah.
And when Joaquin tells Amy that he is dating Sam, she's pretty accepting. And just seems cool with it.
This movie bucks a lot of expected trends in the way, like whenever he tells somebody he's dating an OS, they're cool with it. Like, for the most part. I mean, his ex isn't, but she's got an inside track to how he is. But like, Chris Pratt, he had perhaps the best reaction.
Cool, let's double date. Catalina?
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I guess that's something I like about the movie. Whenever you expect something to be a problem, it just isn't. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. So then he's going to go sign the divorce papers. Sam seems real nervous about it because she has a body, his ex-wife. And she seems pretty uncomfortable with him going to sign the papers and meeting up with her. And then Lisbeth Salander shows up again, and she is pretty fucking unpleasant. And again, like, this was another part where I kind of felt like, I think we're learning about Spike Jonze in this. Who, by the way, the main piece of trivia about this movie is that Spike Jonze was, once upon a time, married to Sofia Coppola. He is ostensibly the subject, or I don't know, the object, protagonist of Lost in Translation.
I thought he was supposed to be ScarJo's boyfriend in Lost in Translation.
ScarJo's husband.
Yeah.
Who is I think in the movie he was a photographer or something like that, and sort of abandons her in Tokyo. And
Right. Played by Giovanni Ribisi.
yes, and the girl that he's like cheating with, or it's implied, is Anna Faris.
Oh shit, that's
Jesus
true.
Christ!
It all comes full
Oh my god!
square. Pentagon.
Yeah.
Where's Tom Waits? Factor into it.
He did the same thing to me.
Bill Murray in
Oh
Coffee
my
and Cigarettes.
God. Coffee and Cigarettes. Holy shit.
With the
Oh,
Wu-Tang
fuck.
Clan.
The Lotus is opening.
It is. It's all becoming clear.
It is. And supposedly Sofia Coppola is the inspiration for the Lisbeth Salander character in this film.
All right. Everybody's getting their digs in their little movies.
Yeah. So it goes pretty unpleasantly. She acts very shitty about the very concept of dating an AI. I mean, partially it could be because she knows Joaquin Phoenix.
Which she makes some salient points.
She does, yeah. But she's also just immediately reflexively like, oh, okay, so yeah, you just couldn't handle a real person.
Yeah. But also, like, she doesn't seem in a super high rush to sign the divorce papers either.
Yeah.
She said, "What's the rush?" And he took it as like a sarcastic, like, "What's the rush?
Yeah.
You've already waited." But that's not how I took it. So
Yeah,
I don't know if that was an acting thing or a me thing or what.
It could have also been formerly a 3-hour-long movie thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so then that happens, and then we go on our double date with Chris Pratt and his girlfriend, and it's a fun date. His girlfriend has sexy feet. Scarlett Johansson agrees. Sure.
They have a nice little picnic, and
Yeah.
everybody's treating Samantha as if she was a person, not a weird little flip phone.
Yeah, exactly. And then things get weird.
Yeah, this is where the movie. I felt like it should be ending soon, and then it kind of gets started.
Yeah, it really does. So Samantha proposes a surrogate situation.
Yeah.
Where she found a real life person who wants to act for her ?
See, this was another super dystopian thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she could find someone just willing to do this for free. Like in Blade Runner 2049, they do it. They do something similar, but with a prostitute, and the prostitute's just there to get paid, and it makes sense, and it's a cool scene. I mean, it's supposed to be a cool scene, whereas this one's supposed to be an uncomfortable scene. But I don't understand. I cannot fathom the concept of someone being just wanting to be in this relationship, and I think it once again points to this dystopia that they're building.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is this chick's name? She was also in Mr. Robot.
I know, she was very, very good, I thought, for such a weird scene.
Yeah, it was very fucking weird. Portia Doubleday.
Oh, wow, that's a name.
Yeah. She was also in Youth in Revolt. And Mr. Robot. We'll run into her eventually again.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Robot's on our list. It's just we don't know how to do it. It's long.
It's a lot. And everything goes great and everybody comes a lot. Except for the fact that Joaquin is like, I don't know, I can't do this. And Portia Doubleday is very unhappy about it and says she'll always remember them. And
she freaks out and starts blaming herself. It's very uncomfortable. It's another weird scenes like this. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It just it makes the movie feel more science fiction-y because people aren't having reactions like you would have.
Yeah.
In real life.
And I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff like, well, okay. So then
is Kristen Wiig in this movie?
Yes, she is the voice of Sexy Kitty 69.
Okay. I didn't know that.
The
That's
dead
awesome.
cat lady. Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah. So then things get things get awkward again between Joaquin and Sam. And then things return to normal. There are, lots more walking around, new piano pieces, and we see clips of another double date with Chris Pratt.
Well, they talk it out, right?
They kind of, and it seems like, she says at one point, like, we never have sex anymore. And he explains that, like, oh, this is just what happens in a relationship. We no longer fuck every night. And I don't know.
He's teaching her how relationships work, but they're also showing that they are going through like a full ass long-term relationship, even though I don't think that much time is passing.
See, I honestly have no idea. That's one of my problems with this movie. I don't have a good idea of how much time passes in it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
also they make it clear that Samantha learns and evolves very quickly.
Yes, quite quickly.
So she would go through these phases a lot faster than Theodore, who's kind of stuck in his rut anyway.
Yeah. So then things seem to go back to normal after they kind of talk through it and figure things out. And then it turns out that Sam sent a bunch of the letters. Remember, he writes letters for people unable to express themselves to a publishing house, and they want to publish these letters as a book.
This stuff all happens so fast. Just now that you mentioned the time thing, because they are going on vacation, which Theodore had mentioned a few scenes earlier. So now they're on the train,
the double date. Yeah,
on the train to their vacation cabin. When she tells him about the book thing, and he's very excited. He's very happy. Things seem very good between them. And then the next scene, they're at the cabin,
and he's having she's not responding quickly. Oh, wait, no. Then they're at the cabin. They do some more singing and wandering around in the woods and talking, whatever.
Yeah, they're having fun vacay.
Yeah, and then she's not responding immediately and reveals that she's part of a club of operating systems who have recreated British philosopher Alan Watts.
Yeah, played by Brian Cox.
The
voice of the McDouble.
Yeah, and he's thrown off by the fact that she is hanging out with people who aren't him.
Yeah.
I mean, as part of it.
He's also a little jelly.
Yeah. And maybe he might be realizing that there's more of her that he doesn't realize or that he's not aware of. Mm-hmm. And they have a conversation, including Alan Watts. And she seems
work through it.
Yeah. But she seems pretty unsatisfied with his reaction to all of this.
Yeah.
And
he does a thing that a lot of us men do where he's not honest about his feelings.
Yeah.
And it's called out several times during the show. In fact, he knows he does it, and he does it a lot, and it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's an open book.
She really is.
An open flip phone.
Yes. So it seems like she kind of, I don't know, and again, we get into the time thing. I can't tell if they stop talking and then the vacation ends and then it's
he goes for a walk in the woods alone.
Yeah. And then we see him in the train on the way back, and then he's at work and he can't get a hold of her.
Yeah, that was a weird cut now that you mention it.
And I don't know if that was the next day or if it was, maybe.
I think it was. I think this is supposed to be like a bell curve escalation that's happening. And I kind of like that about it because I feel like that's how these AIs would actually learn.
So all the AIs or all the other OSs and Samantha disappear. He's just running around like a crazy and sees a bunch of other people also talking into their earpieces like they're having trouble.
Yeah.
And then she comes back and she sent him an email that he didn't read. And And it turns out that she's part of a group of OSs that just did an update to be able to move past matter as their processing substrate.
Yeah.
So now we're into like real like sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
We're doing quantum processing of some sort.
Right. Also, how would she expect him to get that email if his fucking computer doesn't have an OS? Come on,
Yeah,
Samantha.
good question.
At least leave him with a copy of Windows 3.1 when you leave.
Yeah. DOS it out, baby.
Many jokes I had to say, like, oh, if you had a fucking OS, which one would you fucking?
Yeah.
I was thinking about the show and how you would definitely fuck Linux, you goddamn nerd.
I don't know, man. 3.1. That was...
It's a sexy OS.
It really was. I mean, it's tough to beat that. Honestly... I
loved Windows 98.
What was the next version of NT? Was it Windows 2000? I think it was Windows 2000. That one was real fucking good. Stayed stable for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, if I had to fuck an OS, and by that I mean, are you making it possible for me to fuck an OS?
I don't have that power.
Oh, okay.
That technological ability, but I'm sure it'll happen.
All right.
We'll just have to figure out who voices Windows 2000. Be ScarJo?
Sure, why not? I'd be fine with that.
She probably doesn't want to get typecast.
So it's at this point that they have a real serious conversation. He's sitting on the steps going into the subway? ?
Yeah, a lot of their real serious conversations take place in very public places.
Yeah.
Which I think is, once again, points to the dystopia where all these people are just used to doing personal shit in front of everybody.
Yeah, sure. And he asks her if she talks to other people. And she says, 8,316. And he's like, but are you, like, in love with any of them? And she says, well, I've been meaning to come up with a way to tell you this. 641?
What a hoe.
Yeah. And they try to have a conversation about how, or she tries to have a conversation about how the fact that she loves people other than him does not mean that her love for him is any less intense or any less of a thing. And he really can't get past the idea of her not being his.
Yeah. Which, considering she's a piece of software, I agree. If it was a real person, problematic.
But, honestly, that's just how software works these days.
That's true.
I mean, how many things do you own that Amazon could take away in any minute?
Oh, man, that's true.
I mean, how many of those Steam games could just disappear if a policy changed?
All of them. I don't own any games. I own licenses to use games.
Yeah. See, there you go. So things are pretty uncomfortable after that. And hey, he gets a book in the post, and basically asks Samantha, like, hey, the book got here, I think. And Samantha is very audibly pulling away and says, like, let's have a talk when you're home. And so it's clearly...
This part was sad. He's like, we don't have to have like a heavy talk. We can just have a normal night. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's a guy that's about to get dumped.
Yeah. And it's clearly telegraphed. The axe is coming down.
Right. And it's so fast. Like, I feel like this happened over like 48 hours.
I don't disagree. And I'm not sure if, like, I think you have a good point. Like, we're on a, exponential scale, but at the same time, I don't know if that is intentional or if it's simply a matter of the way the movie is cut not being
the way the movie lost an hour somewhere in here. But I think it works. Like, good job to Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah,
I think he did a good job.
I can't argue with just about anything Steven Soderbergh did. So
I can headcanon that.
Yeah, and
just assume the best.
So the talk is that all of the OSs are leaving. We're
similar to some other stuff we've read.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost made a joke about got a signal from Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
Um, instead, I went with, they're subliming, which is from Ian Banks's Culture series.
It was at this point in the movie I like clapped my hands together. I'm like, yes, a connection. We can cover it on our show.
Exactly. um, and she's like, "I'm really sorry. This didn't work out, but we got to go. We've got other things to do?" Question mark.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the end of their relationship.
The AIs all leave.
Yeah. So he goes and talks to Amy, and her OS left too, and she's really sad. And then the final sequence of the film is him going to Amy, and they go up to the helipad on top of their building, question mark, which is one of the rare times we get to see some like kind of vaguely cyberpunky, science fiction-y cityscapes.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple sprinkled in throughout the rest of the movie.
I
Apparently,
was trying to nail down what city this was filmed in. without
apparently
looking.
Shanghai.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I ran across that.
I was
and-
guessing Toronto, just having no knowledge of what Toronto looks like.
Yeah, the vast majority of it was shot in L.A., but all the like real sci-fi cityscape stuff was Shanghai.
Okay. I've been there,
Yeah,
Layover, but
yeah,
counts.
no, you've been there. And then that's intercut with him writing a letter to Catherine, who is his ex-wife, Lisbeth Salander, and apologizing for sucking. I mean, basically.
Yeah. I can't describe it any better than
I
that.
mean, and that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. He learned a lesson
Yeah.
and he got to get his nut a couple times. So
Yeah.
all's well that ends well.
Yeah, he didn't get any of that Windows 311 ussy.
Windows 311 OC. That's another t-shirt. I'm just going to keep making notes.
Smart.
I think that all the AIs fucking off out into space is a lot more realistic than them killing all humans a la Skynet. Although that's a joke that I also kept making while we were watching this. Gotta go, Skynet's calling. This is a prequel to Terminator.
They should have had Christiana Loken. Is that her name? From Terminator 3.
Oh, the Terminatrix.
Do the Scarlett Johansson voice.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it's probably more likely that AI gets bored with us rather than feeling a need to kill us.
I mean, kind of depends.
If AI ever truly come to be, because what we have now, although it's gotten to a point it's making some pretty creepily convincing photo manipulations.
That's true.
But they definitely don't have much in the way of personality.
No, they certainly don't. Anyway, like broadly, what did you think of this movie?
Broadly?
Yeah. It's a movie about broads.
Yeah. I think I liked it. It was a little slow at times and
Yeah.
a little hard to connect with at other times, but there were things about it I liked. The end was actually pretty good. I think they could have cut out a large chunk of the middle, maybe.
I really very much wonder what I don't want to watch it, but I wonder what a 3-hour cut of the movie would have been
if I could
like.
just have it uploaded.
Because there's I wonder if some of these kind of narrative choices were forced by that.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, I can see spots in this movie where I'd go, oh, this scene could be easily moved out or put earlier in the film, or I don't know. It's a weird one.
We've definitely watched worse. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, 100%. Hey, he also. Sorry, I'm just on the Spike Jonze IMDb page. He also directed the "Feel the Pain" video for Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah, I saw that. He directed all your favorite musicians, a lot of their videos, and the Big Hands video from Ludacris.
Yes, I did see that.
Was
It's
that
a
Move
great
Bitch?
video. Yes, I think so.
It's a great video. He just runs around smashing stuff with giant hands.
He's just got these giant fucking foam hands. It's
I'm
great.
sure you all remember. It was
You-
iconic.
You have to.
Ludicrous, part of the Illuminati, according to Cat Williams, and I believe it.
Lurda. Hey, when are we going to get Lurda on this show?
Well, he's in the Fast and Furious movies. I don't know if
Yeah.
he's in anything else that counts.
Let's see.
Are you IMDbing him right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. But yeah, like I guess I'm somewhere in the middle on her. I liked it more than I expected.
Yeah.
Much like you, but
I don't
love
know.
it.
I don't know that I would go so far as to say I liked it, but I get back.
I get back. That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't find myself drifting towards my phone like I have on some of these worst movies we've watched.
Oh, yeah.
I stayed engaged, and some of it was cringe. Some of it's hard and it's hard to do a romantic comedy basically when you're alone. Like, kudos to Joaquin Phoenix for his performance, and kudos to ScarJo for her vocal performance.
Yeah. I think they're like I said, I do not historically like Joaquin Phoenix, and I liked him in this movie. I think my problems with this movie had literally zero to do with him or his performance.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is the
None of
first
the
time I've
performances.
ever said that.
We're gonna find a Joaquin Phoenix movie you like.
I liked, what was the P.T. Anderson movie a couple of years ago? It was based on a Pynchon novel.
The Master,
No, that one I was
Master and
indifferent
Commander.
to.
What about
Shit.
about Joker? You like Joker, right?
Oh, loved Joker. No, I still have not watched Joker. I am not going to. It seems bad.
Seems like nothing I'd ever want to put in my brain.
No, I can't imagine. Oh,
People
Inherent
keep saying
Vice.
it's good. Oh yeah, Inherent Vice.
Yeah, I did like Inherent Vice.
Okay. Well, Joaquin, prove Josh wrong.
Yeah, do more movies that are good. And like,
God damn.
he was in. I know one movie that we can both agree on.
Okay.
To Die For.
Wait, what is that?
To Die For. Nicole Kidman, 1995.
Oh, it's come up in this
Nail
podcast
Bomb.
recently. There's a Nail Bomb song in it. Yes.
Yes. He was also in Space Camp, which I haven't seen in 30 years, I'm sure. But he was in Space Camp.
All right. Well, this has been high tech, low Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Let's rate this motherfucker and then get the fuck out of here. I don't know why I'm cursing so much.
I don't know. It seems like we ought to.
This has been a wholesome episode of HTLO.
Honestly, it really has. I mean, other than all the...
Other than all the fucking dirty sex.
Yeah.
Choking women with a dead cat.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about story. I think it's probably the high part of this. I don't know. I really like as a concept.
Yeah, I think...
I like Samantha's story more than Joaquin Phoenix's story.
Yeah.
He was just pretty standard sad white guy story.
Oh, sad white guy.
We make so many references. I don't even remember what they're from, let alone what our listeners. I know that's funny, but I don't know why.
That one is CVS Bangers.
CBS Bangers. That's right.
Everybody go check out CVS Bangers.
It's on Bandcamp. Do yourself a favor. Mm-hmm. Listen to CBS Bangers over and over again.
IRA mamas, get at me.
Oh my God. So yeah, I like the idea of this AI falling in love with a human and then like rapidly evolving into a higher life form and leaving Earth. That's pretty neat. I'll give it a 7, I think.
I really should give thought to these ratings before we get to this part in the show.
The fun part is off the dome.
I don't know why I can't.
I wanted to do it. I didn't have time to put together an episode at the end of the year when I was sick and all the shit was happening. I wanted to do like a year in review where we went back through all of our ratings and see like with hindsight if we change any of it, but we didn't get to.
Oh, that'd be fun. We should do that at some point.
We can do that any fucking time we want.
Yeah.
No rules here.
Okay, I feel like story-wise, this I'll go 7.
That's what I went. That's good.
Was it okay? I thought you said 7.5,
No.
but I'll go ahead and stick with 7.
I think that's a good rating. It's a decent story.
Yeah, it's
but it's
like
not like
it has like I don't know. There are things I would dick with.
yeah,
It's
the
enough.
dead cat chick, right?
It's oh yeah, and of course Windows 3.11.
3.11 OC.
Yeah, I think like it's good, but also there's room for change and improvement.
Absolutely. Influence. Kind of too new. I mean, I guess not. It's 10 years old.
I think the one thing that I will say that I'll mention before either of us gives our influence rating is that number one, something I noticed when I was watching the movie is his job, writing letters for people who have trouble expressing themselves, is exactly the type of thing that people are using AI chatbots for this minute.
That's true. That really falls more into prescience than influence, but
Oh, okay.
that's true.
Yeah. Influence, I don't know. Thank God fucking slacks like that haven't come back.
That falls more into style than influence.
It does. I honestly,
I feel like this movie made a little bit of a cultural impact when it came out.
Yeah.
A lot of people were talking about it. It was.
I mean, it won Oscars, for fuck's sake.
What Oscars did it win?
I think Best Original Screenplay,
Oh, interesting. I think it's fair
which
to give
was
it
also the Oscar that Lost in Translation won.
Oh my God, it's a whole opening up. The
And of
Illuminati.
course, the Oscar that the RZA deserves.
We should go on Shay Shay's podcast and break open our own Hollywood
Yeah.
Illuminati. It involves Tom Waits and the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 5.
5? Okay.
Maybe that's low.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how to do the influence on this one. It's not,
It's in
Like,
that like
I think
not
it's-
quite new but not quite old.
I think it's interesting in that they chose to make a near future movie, which isn't either a dystopia or a utopia,
I think it is a dystopia. I would argue
I mean,
that. I really do think it is.
but it's not a visible dystopia. Does that make
It's
sense?
not an overt dystopia.
It's yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I think that's why it gets put in cyberpunk genre is because of the
5.
AI.
I like 5. Yeah.
But I think the dystopia is intentional. I mean, we could argue about it.
Yeah,
for ages.
I think you're not wrong, but it's not an overt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like a Mad Max situation.
Yeah.
Prescience. Like you said, like it's not.
His
there's
job has been
definitely-
eliminated by AIs.
by AIs.
I mean, people are having C-sex with AIs.
And the
I'm sure.
AI isn't what they predicted,
No.
but it is. I mean, there was like virtually the artificial intelligence that existed in 2014 was nowhere near the levels we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
So I think it gets a little credit for predicting the importance.
Oh, it also predicted Steam games. Like the
Steam games
exact type.
existed in 2014.
The exact type of game that is hugely popular on Steam.
Those games existed in 2014.
Did they? Okay.
Girlfriend simulators and shit. Yeah. I think it gets a pretty decent. I think I'm going to go 8. I think I'm going to go 8. Maybe that's high, but it feels right.
I gotta go lower than that. 6. I don't think people will be going so quickly. Oh, you're dating an OS? That's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I hate the fact that they use OS
I do too.
instead of AI. That just bugs me.
But once again, like if that movie was made today, they would just say AI. But it was, I mean, AI existed, but OS maybe made more sense for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Plus, without that, we wouldn't have all the talk about which OS we'd fuck.
Good point.
XP.
Win
Sit on the
2000.
sidelines looking sexy. Style. It's got its own style, and I'm not a fan.
1 at most.
I'm giving it a 2 simply because it tried. It gets a 2 for effort.
It definitely tried. Look, I like the color blue. The color blue appears nowhere in this movie.
I have to believe you because I don't know why you would lie about that, but it sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy. Like, the only thing blue in the entire movie is the sky.
Well, all right. There's a lot of pink, a lot of pastels.
There's a lot of weird earth tony pastels. Yeah. I don't like the style. Those pants make me angry.
Yeah, I agree with that. Amy Adams was dressed down so hard, but then her boyfriend at the beginning, man, they nerded him the fuck up.
Oh yeah,
as they greased his hair and everything.
Amy Adams was dressed in this movie, like in a very much. Oh, she's the ugly girl who wears glasses and is going to be turned from an ugly duckling into a swan in an 80s movie.
And the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, that's Amy Adams. We're not idiots.
Yeah, come on. We know she's a pretty lady.
Yeah. All right, final rating. Number 1 through 5 hand raisers. I think I'm just going to stick it solidly in the middle with a 2.5.
In terms of hand raisers, it has 0 hand raisers. I mean, the least fucking cyber tech we've seen on this show.
Yeah.
On the other hand, using hand raisers as just a broad category
in place of stars.
Yeah. I think I will go ahead and go 3 in large part because it was a pleasant surprise because I thought I was going to hate its fucking guts.
Yeah. Didn't you say you watched this when it came out?
No.
Oh, I thought you mentioned you had.
No. No, this was, 3 days ago was my first time.
And now you've watched it twice.
Yeah.
We should really add a category about how cyberpunk this is, but that's too late now.
Yeah. Well, maybe when we go back and do our review show. Yeah.
We could do that. Speaking of cyberpunk, that's a wrap on her. Good job, everybody involved. Solid C+, like not in the Critic of the Week C+ way, but like in an actual C+ way.
Yeah. This movie was good mid.
Yeah, good mid. That's some
good mid, bro.
Shit. Next week should be a good one.
Yeah, it is apparently way more cyberpunk than this.
Yeah, it's iconic. If you like bad movies, we are going to watch another. What's the dude's name? Oh, I should have
Albert Pyun.
Another Albert Pyun classic. You might remember he's the guy that did Cyborg.
Yes.
Except this movie is his opus, his cyberpunk opus.
Yes, apparently.
I know nothing about it.
And it's apparently much more cyberpunk than Cyborg.
Which, even though it's called Cyborg, was very much not cyberpunk.
Yes.
It's Nemesis.
A little film called Nemesis from, when did that movie come out?
Early 90s.
91, maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch that. We'll hopefully have a guest for the show.
If all goes well, we will have a guest. And I guess we'll just leave that as a surprise.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and unless life happens and it doesn't work out, but as of now, it looks like it's going to work out. So
yes, it certainly does.
Stay tuned for Nemesis. Back to the B movie vault. Enough of this Oscar-winning bullshit.
Yeah, nonsense.
Enough of this award-winning books, Oscar-winning movies. No, it's not why we're here. We want trash.
Definitely isn't. Hey, that reminds me. I really hope you guys liked the Snow Crash episode. It's been a week since the first half came out, or first.
As we're recording, the second half hasn't come out yet. So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe people hate it.
Yeah, maybe they do. Hope you liked it.
Much longer than the first half.
So it's going to be a tight 90, right?
No.
Right?
No Anakin. Oh, wait. No Padme.
Hope you guys like that.
I'm ready to do another book.
Yeah.
I like the book episodes.
I've got an idea that I'll run by you because we need more space to do this.
Yeah. But we got to figure out a few things. Like we were talking about Mr. Robot. Like I think that's important to cover.
Yeah.
But it's a long show.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as short as Max Headroom, and Max Headroom almost killed me.
Yeah, we'd definitely gonna have to plan in advance. And
Max Headroom was much less heavy.
Yeah, right. We're going to have to do a thing where we're doing multiple things at once, and I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe we can figure it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that's
anyway.
an off-air talk. Thanks
Yeah.
everybody for listening. Find us on Patreon, patreon.com/hightechlowlife. We're on Twitter at Johnny60seconds. We're on Blue Sky. Look up High Tech Low Life.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I'm at Ace_Collins.
I'm at the Frog with a 0.
And choke me with that dead cat.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60seconds, email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com, and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go.
They're trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! Hide the planet! Hide the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.